Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. Welcome into Record-ology Live with my friend Sean, who is that beeping sound that we hear sometimes on video. Sometimes it gets a bit obnoxious. Definitely agree with that. But that's his way of communicating. He is a green cheek canoer, it's a parakeet breed, somewhere between a parakeet and a parrot. He's like a small parrot. And he's an old fella. He's about 11 years old, and we've had him for some time. And he's a good little guy. The only thing, he gets a little chatty sometimes. He gets a little chatty, but he said, "Dad, can we go on a live tonight? I want to hang out with all the Recordology peeps." And yeah, that was awesome. Well, this is weird. It says chat disconnected. Now it says chat reconnected. Never seen that before. Okay, well, welcome in everybody. We're just going to chat and talk about some stuff and have fun, answer any questions you have. And we're going to see how long it takes until Sean poops on me, because these birds have a digestive cycle that is pretty much a pass-through, pretty much a complete pass-through. So he usually doesn't make it about more than 10 or 15 minutes before lifting his tail feathers. And my wife's like, "Why don't you take him on the live tonight?" And I was like, "Because he poops." She's like, "Well, you can put your friend on the show until he poops." And I don't know how long that'll be. That might be quite a while. I don't think so, though. Like I said, 10, 15 minutes. I'm thinking we've already spent about 5 or 6 of that, huh, buddy? Getting the show ready, getting ready to talk to our friends. Yeah. But he really enjoys the chance to come on, chat with you. So you can ask him anything. I'll ask him for you, or we can talk vinyl. Got a lot of content up or going up as we speak. Let me move the microphone a little close. Somebody said last time the mic wasn't as good as it could be, so hopefully that'll be a little bit clear. But yeah, we got a lot of content coming up. I posted a short just a few minutes ago of our trip out to a Sarasota shop called Salty Dog, Records. And it was an interesting shop. So if you want to see it, check out that short. And then later, after this live, I have like a 20-minute, basically a haul video where I show you all the records we got this weekend. So be sure to check that out. That'll be a long form video. Hey, Jeremy knows his real name. Sean's real name is Yoshi. Nickname is Sean, which is really weird because for a while I worked for a guy named Sean, and that was kind of awkward. But Jeremy knows this is Yoshi, aka Sean, is the nickname I give him. I don't know. There's this weird thing in our family. I do it. My brothers do it, where whatever the family pet is named, we name him something else, like as a nickname. I don't know why that is. Plus, my dad taught me that he kind of demonstrated that it's kind of funny to name your pets human names. He always thought it'd be funny to have a dog named Steve, which we never did. But some of these days, and I'm never going to have another dog. I don't think so. Our dog now, we love her so much, but I think that's going to be like the second or third family dog. And I think we're done with dogs after that. And birds. But anyway, yeah, he's 11. He's a good boy. So anywho, hello, is this the bird that pitch matches your doorbell? Yes, good memory. It's actually not the doorbell. We had a security system on our house, and every time you would open or close the door, it would beep, and he has pitch matched that, and he's retained that sound. And that was a long time ago, wasn't it, buddy? That was a long time ago. So yeah, it's weird. He loves to do it as soon as I start talking. So if he was in the other room right now and he heard me talking, he would probably be cheeping in the background, which could be a little bit annoying. But yeah, he's a green cheek canoer. I think they're native to Brazil. It's a breed of parakeet and parrot, somewhere between. It's bigger than a parakeet, smaller than most parrots, but there's also sun cheek canoers, and you can see his cheeks are green. That's where they get their name. And pineapple canoers, and they're known for being, and this would be a surprise because he really isn't, but friendly. He can be friendly, but if you put your finger out there, hey, this is way he's not gonna do it. He's absolutely awestruck right now. Wow, YouTube. It's funny because he likes to chew on your finger just gently. He's actually a really nice guy, but He could squawk anyway. But we didn't come to talk just about birds. Hop up there. Hop up there and don't do your business up. Don't even think about doing your business up there. What was the best album you found on Record Store Day this year? So I was looking for the Dolly Parton record, and I did not find it. I did that series of Record Store Day videos, kind of planning my attack and the approach, the strategy, and all this stuff. But I ended up not finding it in the shop that I chose. But I did get one Record Store Day release, which I'm going to try to find now. I'm now telling the computer exactly what it can do with 50 boxes of chocolate. Anybody know that reference? I did get the Strawberry Alarm Clock, Incense and Peppermints, which was sort of one of my backup titles. And a friend of mine picked up the Dolly Parton record, and I'm going to pay him for it. He's going to send it to me. So I did get the one I wanted. So yeah, I didn't get a bunch. This is a pressing. This is number 1749 out of 3,000 copies. Gold stamped there. This is a classic album. This is it's fun, sort of psychedelic rock pop music. And hey, Rice Cooker, welcome in. Welcome in, everybody, by the way. I'll jump into the comments here in a minute. I did not expect this because there's no hype stickers on my copy, but it's pressed to this beautiful pink. Look at that. Strawberry Alarm Clock. And no, it doesn't smell like strawberries. If this was a Strawberry Shortcake record, it probably would, and I would totally buy that. But yeah, this is really, really cool. I have listened to like 95% of it. Sounds great. It's a great quality pressing. It's probably 140 grams. It is stereo, and it's great. It's really, really cool. Elemental Music. Yeah, this is great stuff. Now, I was only familiar with Incense and Peppermints, but I listened to these other songs on the record, and if you like Incense and Peppermints, you would like this whole album. All the songs on here are good. It's just good sort of ambient stuff. It kind of reminds me of In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, Iron Butterfly, and it reminds me of a funny story. So my dad has this game that he plays, this funny game that he plays, where he purposely, and I found as a father, I found myself doing this same game to my poor son. And I'm like, I'm just becoming my father. It's just happening again. It must be a generational thing. Anyway, what he would do is he would purposely mispronounce something just to try and get your goat. And so I brought home, this would have been late 90s. I brought home a CD of Iron Butterfly because I found out about In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. And I was like, I need this. And specifically, I love the live version. And it wasn't Woodstock. It was, I don't think Iron Butterfly was a Woodstock. Maybe they were. Anyway, it was a live version. And it's so good. It's so ambient. It's so long. And the drum solo is crazy good, right? So I get the CD and I bring it home. And my dad, he grabs the CD and I'm like, Dad, check out this. I was like trying to impress him by listening to his music, his generation of music. So I was like, Dad, check out this CD I got. And he's like, what is this? Iron Booter. Oh, Iron Butterfly. Very cool. As soon as he realized what it was, the pretend I can't read it, went away. Iron Butterfly. I don't know why. I would do that to my son. He'd be like, Dad, you're just doing what Grandpa does. But anyway, that music is very reminiscent of Iron Butterfly to me anyway. So yeah, for those of you just coming in, this is Yoshi, aka Sean. He's a green cheek canoer, about 11 years old. And they're the most easy to handle, kindest birds. I don't know if he's the kindest. He's got kind of a temper, but he's a good boy. And he just wanted to come on tonight so we could show him off to you guys. Often hear him in the background. He's been mistaken for alarm systems. He gets mistaken for the smoke detector battery quite a bit. And he can pitch match things. He can kind of talk. He'll say, come here a minute and stuff. But one thing that's wonderful is if you hold him, he gets quiet. So if the bird's being annoying, just hold him and he goes quiet. It's a wonderful thing. And it's pretty rare for him to make any noise if he's being held. So the downside is the digestive system, it's on a 10-minute timer. So we're on borrowed time now because it's definitely been 10 minutes since he's been away from his cage. But thank you. Yeah, he is a beautiful bird. Yeah, hit the thumbs up, the like button, whatever. Thumbs up button. Jeremy, thanks for modding tonight. I appreciate it. If you guys want to get your cool little R badge like he has, you can join our membership program. It's only 99 cents a month. It's called the Inner Circle, and you get badges, you get exclusive stickers, all that kind of stuff, all that kind of cool stuff. Gold Boy says, I had that same type of bird and it hated me. Isn't it weird how animals decide, I like you, I don't like you. I'm like literally the hand that feeds you, and sometimes he gets grouchy anyway. Super Z Dog says, it's awesome because I have perfect pitch, and I can pitch match some of my male teachers' voices or my frequency. That's kind of funny. That's interesting. Rachel, thank you. Yeah, he is a beautiful bird. He's a good boy. Rice Cooker, welcome in. I always miss RSD. I always go shopping before when I have money. I'm hoping this weekend there's some left. There'll probably be some leftovers. So I chose to go to a place in Orlando called East West Records, and they were super nice, super friendly. They opened at 10. We got there at 10:30, and and I have this all documented. There's videos on all the stuff you guys want to watch about it. Filmed inside, filmed the hall, everything we got. I got 3 items, 4 items, something like that. So you can watch the videos about all that stuff. There was a line out front, maybe 10 people. But what I didn't realize is the line wasn't just to the door. The line was in the door and then around the inside of the store to the bins. So it took probably a good 30 minutes of waiting. It wasn't terrible. I know, and I saw footage of another shop that I went to on Sunday out in Sarasota called Salty Dog Records. They had a line down the block, like 100 people, dude. I was like thankful that I wasn't in that mess, because I don't know if there's much I would want to wait. Like, I'm not going to wait overnight. I'm not going to get there 2 or 3 a.m. Just not going to do it. You know what I mean? I'm just not going to do it. So we waited 30 minutes, and the record I wanted the most, the Dolly Parton record, was gone. I got my backup record, and it was really, really cool. And it was fun just to shop there and hang out. And the people there were very, very nice. It's a cool store, kind of medium size, not that big, but very nice people. So I'd recommend them a lot. Also, this weekend, I just put a short up, by the way, if you want to see the kind of the tour of the inside. We went to this place called Salty Dog Records out in Sarasota. They have these cool retro kind of travel postcards they give you. And it was cool. It was a tiny little place. But if you like punk rock especially, they were heavily laden with punk rock. And what was really amazing to me is what I found in their discount bins. I could not believe it. So check out our haul video. I'm going to post it after this live. And if you check that out, you'll see all the stuff we pulled out of there, I was surprised. It was a bountiful haul. And it was only about a $40 haul, which to me, that's a lot of money to spend on records, especially considering this is all entry level, the channel that we're doing here. Right. So we're not buying, we're not one of these people buying like a bag full of RSD records. One of the records I was kind of interested in was the Doctor Who record. It's like $47. If it's a $47 record, it's going to be like a birthday present or Christmas. It's like a big deal. I'm not just going to willy-nilly go buy a $50 record. Kyle says, hi, I got old Zenith radio for $5 on eBay. Oh, really cool. A400. Congratulations on that. Rachel says, I would hear those beeps occasionally during your videos, and I just thought it was a smoke alarm. Everybody does. Everybody thinks it's a smoke alarm, and I'm like, please stop doing that. And I'll edit them out. Like this short, actually, he has a really loud one, and I'm like, dude, I can't have you screeching like that. So I edited it out, and he's got his own free will. He'll do what he wants. The only cues for him to be quiet are when he's being held and when he's got his blanket over his cage. But he's a free roamer. If he wants to fly somewhere, he just flies somewhere. He mostly stands on top of his cage. We leave the doors open during the day so we can kind of roam around and stand up on top. We got him this ladder thing on the top. He likes to stand up there. And To him, being involved in kind of the day-to-day activities is cheaping when somebody comes or leaves and talks sometimes, don't you? Yeah. But yeah, if I hold him, he's nice and quiet. It's great. I really try to minimize that. So I apologize. I know that sound can be so annoying. It's not a pleasant sound that he makes. It literally sounds like a smoke alarm. Movie Spud. Hello, all. I went to our local record store on Saturday. Didn't get any RSD stuff, but I did get some good stuff. Bruce Springsteen, Led Zeppelin, Sarah Vaughan. Wasn't there a Sarah Vaughan release for RSD as well? John Denver and the Ventures. Hey, there's some great ones there. The Ventures, John Denver. I would totally go for those. I used to collect Led Zeppelin back in the day. Rachel also says it's delightful. It's a delightful treat finally being able to see this sweet bird behind those beeps. I love how he's just sitting there so calmly. Yeah, he's such a good boy when he wants to be. He's a good boy, though. He really, really is. Here, pose for the people. Look at that. He's a good boy. Green cheek canoer. Yeah. I guess the sun cheek canoers, which are like yellow, and the pineapples, which are orange and yellow, don't have as calm a demeanor as the green cheeks. But yeah, he's a good boy. He likes to snuggle too. He's actually, it's interesting. Like he doesn't, I didn't mean to make this show about birds, but if you're interested, I'll tell you. He doesn't like he doesn't like to be touched really, like especially his tail. Like if you were to touch his tail, he wouldn't like that. And, they use their beak like a hand. And they also use their feet like a hand. He can grab a treat and hold it up to his mouth and just sit there on one foot. But like if he steps up, he'll eat. Watch this. Step up. Step up. Let's show him how you step up. But now you're just going to do it with your feet. I was going to say sometimes they'll use their beak to step up on stuff. Step up. Show me. Don't. Okay. Step up, not squeeze my finger, you silly boy. Anyway, he's a good boy. He really, really is. He likes to stand on computer monitors. He just likes to check things out. He can fly pretty good. He can't really land that well, but he's a good boy. All right. Yeah. You go over there. Pretend you're a nice bird. No, you are a nice bird. I collect vintage radios as well as record players, says Kyle. Rice Cooker says, from what I've seen, the Record Store Day covers are great reproduction. Yeah, exactly. Everything seems really quality with the RSD stuff. Movie Spud says, at the Record Barn, I heard a lady who was visiting from New York ask the clerk if they had any King Harvest records, and I heard her say her uncle was the drummer. That's cool. Isn't it funny? I've run into people before just have amazing stories at records. Oh, yeah, I knew the bassist from this band, or my uncle used to do this, or I remember hearing at one record shop back in Colorado, there was this lady who said that she had lineage to the family that owned Nipper the dog, the old RCA Victor the dog. And I was like, wow, that was amazing. Hit the thumbs up, folks, for the algorithm gods. Yes, Jeremy, thank you so much. He's a good hype man. Jeremy, you're awesome. Yeah, do hit that. And also, while I got you here, if you wouldn't mind, can I ask you a favor? Would you go over to my wife's channel? It's called Rain's Place, all one word, and subscribe over there. I will go ahead and post a link here as well. Over there, she posts content about animals, about nature, all kinds of fun stuff like that. Sort of our adventures. There's like couples blogs and stuff over there. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in the comments here. If you would mind running over there and hitting sub real quick and come right on back here, that would be awesome. And yeah, I really appreciate your support. And I think it's time for our little feathered friend to go back on his perch before he has a gastrointestinal experience that I don't want to be a part of. So if you guys want to talk amongst yourself for a second, I'll be right back. Okay, we're good. It's like a time bomb. Oops, focus. Whoa. It's like coming out of a dream sequence. He's a good boy. I love him. He's definitely bonded with me. Hold on one second, guys. So, what do you guys got? What's on your mind? What are you up to? What's the good thought? What records are we looking for? What do we find? I was pleasantly surprised with what Record Store Day had this year. They're having more of different genres, which I think is really, really cool. I think it's good that they're having. Oh, thank you, Rachel. Appreciate it. I think it's cool that they've got some variety this year. It's not all just the same stuff. And I listen to a lot of different styles of music, so it's just kind of nice to have some variety there. All right, let's jump back into the comments here. The neighbors are currently blowing some fireworks. I was at a store and found some RSDs, but they were a little pricey. Yeah, they're so expensive. I think Record Store Day should be like free comic book day. It should be like free record day. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Like everybody gets a free record, but it's like, hey, come here and spend money on expensive records. Like every other day where you can spend money on expensive records. That being said, I know the point is to get people in the door of record shops, which is good for small business. I think that's a really good thing. But yeah, it is an expensive thing, which is why I only bought one. I bought this one record. This is the only Record Store Day record I bought. I also got a CD, Star Trek Generations soundtrack. I am a Trekkie. And on a live the other night, one of you guys gave me permission to watch Picard season 3 out of order because I haven't watched the first two, and I've heard they're not the greatest, and I don't want to wait 2 years of what it takes me a while to get through some of these shows. So somebody's like, you know what? I give you as a fellow Trekkie, I give you permission. You may watch season 3. So I've been reading like a synopsis of season 1 and 2, and I'm just going to jump into it. I still need to finish Mandalorian season 3, though. I love that show as well. I wish I could talk my wife into watching as well. She's watched some of them. The one episode, she likes to watch Deep Space Nine with me, but I tried to get her to watch Mandalorian, and it was the episode with the fish creatures, and she just walks in. She's like, it's so silly. I can't. She's like, I can't do it. But she's a professional actor and singer. She's been on Broadway. And I'm like, people in musical break out into songs. That's not realistic. It's fun. It's whimsical. You know what I mean? Why can't there be fish people? Not sure if there's any Sarah Vaughan, but if I was to buy any RSD releases, it'd probably be the Muddy Waters one. That's cool. Was there multiple Muddy Waters releases? I don't remember. From My Listening Chair. That's a cool name. Hey, I just got the coffee mug a week ago. Awesome stuff. Dude, I need to get it too. That's cool. Thank you for suggesting it. Thank you for supporting the channel. As From My Listening Chair mentioned, we do have merch. There's a merch shelf in various places on our channel. We have a hat. We've got a coffee mug per his suggestion. And we have a die cut sticker. So that's one way you can support the channel. We also sell custom printed. I don't have one here. Do I? I should have one of my own. I don't have one here. It's in the other room because I was filming something. We have custom 3D printed 45 adapters you can purchase, and you can join the club or just be here, which is the most important thing. Again, thank you, Rachel, for subscribing to her channel. That's really cool. We are two peas in a pod. We just go on adventures together. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. We went to Medieval Times this past weekend. It was a blast. It was a blast. That was the thing I was alluding to in the last live, is that we were going to Medieval Times. Lost my voice, but it was worth it. Rice Cooker says the neighbors are currently. Oh wait, I already got that. Oh, you got 2 British pressings of Cliff Richard's records for $5 each. Very cool. Kyle says, I got a question. What was your favorite brand of record player? Oh man, it's tough. I usually, more than a brand, I really like a type. And for me, it's multiple types. I like manual record players like this Pioneer DJ PLX 500. I like it because the complete control over everything, every aspect, specifically the strobe. I have to have a strobe and pitch control on a record player. That's a mandatory for me now. That's the only thing I didn't love about the LP3 from Audio-Technica. I also love full automatics. So off camera down here, I've got my SLD1 linear tracker. And it's one with the motor is the platter, the only one that I have like that. Then I've got a Technics SLBD22 in here, semi-automatic. So I like Technics. I have 3 of them. I can't believe I have 3. I never thought I'd have any of them. When I started this channel, they just seemed so fancy and expensive that I couldn't imagine that. I mean, I couldn't imagine that. I started this channel with a $35 record player, which was awesome and fine. And I was thankful for it. And it was enough. But then as I learned more, you learn about what's around the corner. And I've just been so blessed in so many ways. The direct drive Technics was a gift. I found the semi-automatic Technics as it's like $40. Somebody was selling it for. It had it's missing a dust cover. That's why it's in the rack. This one, I just liked it, and I saved up the money and purchased it. I sold 1 or 2 other turntables. I paid $300 for this. They go for like $350 new, and it's essentially an LP120X, but branded differently. There are some other subtle differences, but it's made by the same company. So, Kyle, to answer your question, it depends. I could like a turntable by any brand. Though, especially these days, brands don't matter that much for new stuff because they're all made by common manufacturers. Mandalorian is great. I thought I saw 2 Muddy Waters records. Interesting. Wow, Jeremy, put the link up for the Teespring shop. So yeah, if you want to buy any of the merch, the physical merch besides the 45 adapters, Jeremy is so graciously put the link to the store. Thank you, Jeremy, for doing that. Then we have an eBay store as well. There'll be, those links are available elsewhere as well. Rice Cooker says, I moved to a different part of my house. It's a small room, but I want to replicate a small record store with crates. That's what I do. And also have my hi-fi in a reasonable space with a bed and a computer. Rice Cooker, that's exactly what I did. So if you could look over here, and I've done some video clips where you can see it. Instead of shelving my records, I do crates because I like crate digging. So I want to recreate that in my house. So what I do is I've got all the crates lined up here. I've got some on that wall. I've got some. I got too many crates. Anyway, I have them sectioned by the genre, not alphabetically. So they're random in their genre. So like the jazz section, they're not even alphabetized in there because I would do that. And then, I get excited listening to music. It takes all the discipline I can even to put them in the right spot, without getting everything mixed up. So what works for me, do what works for you. What works for me is divided by sections. And then some artists that I collect a lot, Patsy Cline, Elvis, Jackie Gleason, Peggy Lee, have their own dedicated sections, but others are by genre. And it's fun. I even got a little sign a few Christmases ago. Somebody gave me one of those little lit signs with the letters you could customize. And I got like a record shop sign. So it feels like I even put up, back in Colorado, I even put little prices and stuff just for fun. You know what I mean? Just to recreate the feel, because I love being in a record shop. And you always think, at least if you're me, like, man, wouldn't it be great if I could just always be in this record shop? If I could spend so much time in the record shop. So I try to recreate that vibe. That's just what works for me. I think it's fun. So add to it the signage. Still waiting on, I think, 2 more signs. I ordered 6, I believe. And why are they so many of them Victor, except for the Edison one? Well, that's just mostly what's available, these 10 signs. So that's cool, dude. I think that's really, really cool. So good luck. We are going to do a show. It's on the list of shows to do a show where we rate or review or just feature pictures of people's vinyl setups. I cannot wait to do that because I cannot wait to see what your setups are. So we'll put the call out. Not yet. Don't do it yet. But we'll do a thing where you guys send your pictures in. Tell us why you have it that way. And we'll talk about it. And that's super, super cool. From my listening chair says, I love fully automatic too. I have a Technics BD35 and a Denon DP300F. Ooh, I think that's a really cool unit. He says, fire, absolute fire. Okay, I'm looking this up now. Hold on. Sometimes you guys mention like model numbers, and I can't think of what one that is off the top of my head, so I want to learn. Okay. Oh, yes. DP 300F. Oh, that's slick. Like the piano gloss. I like it. Okay. Really cool. All right. Awesome. I like it. Kyle says, my two favorite record players, my Audio Technica and my Victrola Revolution Go. That's such a good portable, the Revolution Go. So I wish it was rugged, though. That's the thing, is it's so cheaply, the case is so cheap. You look at it too hard and it's going to crack. But it sounds so good. You just can't beat it. Music Junkie, welcome in. Why are you always live when I can't be there? Because I think to myself, man, is Music Junkie busy? I'm going to go live. I don't know why, man. I'm sorry. It just, let's see. I hope that record store day was good for you. I spent an absolute ridiculous amount of money, and there's still more that I want. Dude, it was a good year for RSD. It's only like the second year I've really participated in it, but I feel like it's getting better the last couple of years because I was tracking. I knew of it, and I would look at the list a couple of years before that. But this last couple of years, the first year, I kind of jumped in on it. Last year was. So I feel like it's getting better, more music. And we were just talking before you jumped in here about how it's expensive, and oftentimes there's a lot of people there. So if you have any sort of social anxiety, or you don't want to become, a lot less rich than you were before you went in there, that may be two reasons why you want to wait. And they do have leftovers. And I was talking to this lady from East West Records, and she said they even do like a wait list. And I'm like, what's that? And apparently they get shipments of RSD records after record store day. And I'm not sure exactly how that works. Ty says, my local record store sells bags of mystery records for $5. I never bought one, but I think it's interesting that my local record store sells them. Yes, mystery record batches. I bought one too from East West on record store day. And it was interesting what was in there. And we're going to be regifting and doing giveaways with some of those records too. But I usually in those, I don't find a lot that I like. But this time I found probably 5-6 records in a big bundle. It was a thick bundle for $5. I love those mystery things. But sometimes we just buy them and give them to you guys. It's a lot of fun. It's a blast. Roland, welcome in. Jeremy, thanks for putting up the link to the eBay store. So if you guys want the adapter, check out the link that Jeremy posted. Movies Bud says, I might get the Victrola Revolution Go. I store my records in an old Philco 1950s radio. That's cool. Yeah, if you want a good 3-speed portable, it's sound quality-wise, it's really, really good. Now, people come back to me like, wait a minute, what about the Music Public Kingdom thing from like 3, 4, 5 years ago that at the time I said was the best suitcase player? And if it had a handle, it probably would be. It didn't have a handle. But I'm not sure what happened to Music Public Kingdom. Some people tell me they haven't seen them around or that they've changed names. I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, they were rebranding product that was available elsewhere. At least that's what it appeared to be. So the MPK suitcase player that was so good because it had a magnetic cartridge, metal parts, it was rugged, popped up under another brand name, and I'm sure that would be just as fine. The Revolution Go, however, is an exclusive Audio Technica product. That's not just rebranded. You can't just, it's not, you're not going to go find that on a Skywin website or something. That's not going to pop up on Alibaba. So, but it's great. It's the only problem is it's a bit pricey. It's like $200. I think it's $199, and the plastic is cheap. Could not stand a drop. But if you take care of it, you baby it, the thing sounds amazing. The speakers are way too good. The speakers sound way better than they have any business sounding. Vinyl_rage. I would love to show you my setup. So all in good time. We are going to do that, and I would love to see it. UTP216 says, I missed out on Bish at the bank. Last copy I saw in another person's hands. Oh, no. He's like, no, it's slipping through my fingers. No. And it's funny because the line at this record shop went around the back over to the front where the bins were. So as you're going through the bins, people are craning their necks to see, what is that guy? What's he getting? Hope he's not getting the last copy of Bish. And even when you're up there, you feel a million eyes burrowing into the back of your scalp or into the back of your head as you're looking through things and like, oh, I found the last copy of Incense and Peppermints. It's mine. It's mine. And somebody's like, you got the last copy. Taylor Swift sold out almost instantly, which is fine. I wasn't looking for that. But when I got there, I was like, all right, I want to get the Dolly Parton record. That's my number one thing. I want the Dolly Parton Monument Singles Collection. And they're like, well, you're in luck. We got 3 copies left. But there were still 50 people in front of me. The 10 in front of me in front, and then probably another 40 inside. And sure enough, it was gone by the time I got up there. I was like, dude. But that's the fun of it, right? It's the unknown. It's the, will I find it? It's not a guaranteed. Like, you go to Apple Music, you go to Spotify, you can listen to anything. There's no discipline to achieve it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no risk involved. There's no investment except for the money, whatever. You go to a record store day, you got to think to yourself, I can only be at one record store day when they open, unless there's one that opens later than another. But if you know what I mean? Like, let's say figuratively or actually, that you have 5 record stores that may have the record you want. You called all of them ahead of time. That's a tip. It's one of the things I talked about in my RSD series. Called all of them and said, hey, do you have Taylor Swift? I really want it. Yep, we got it. And we open at 8. And what if they all open at 8 and they all have the record? Well, which one do you go to? What do you take into consideration? Will a bigger store have more copies? Will one out of the way have a smaller line? Things like that. Once you go, you've sort of expended your opportunity and then it's over with. That's the risk. That's part of the fun. I like that. So I can post links in the chat here. I don't think you guys can. But what are you looking to? What are you interested in? If there's a link that you want to like our store or something, either I or my moderator Jeremy could do it. Get caught up on comments here. Movie Spud says, for something fun, check out the Musen OTR Magneti Bluetooth speaker. It's a Bluetooth speaker and refrigerator. Okay, I'm looking this up. Because when I'm in front of the refrigerator, I don't want to waste that time not listening to music, right? Oh, dang, I copied the wrong thing. Hold on a second. It's like one of those things you never knew that you needed. I used to have this catalog back in the 80s that was, I thought it was called Things You Never Knew Existed. And they were all, it was a paper catalog, of course, of all of these crazy inventions that you could buy. It kind of reminds me of what I would imagine seeing that. Holy cow, $100? Oh, they make bigger ones too. The other really cool, you know what the look kind of reminds me is those like ready to go radio systems for seniors that have the, like one stage, they hit play and it just plays music like built into it, like MP3s. I'm not saying that in a derogatory. I think that's actually it's something that's very near and dear to my heart is elder care. That's something we got through. My wife and I went through that. Actually, that was the impetus to creating this channel. So I'm all about that kind of stuff. So I say that in a heartfelt manner. I think that's great. That's kind of that same vibe, kind of retro vibe, kind of cool. And the little record player ones are interesting. They remind me of the Crosley. I don't have mine anymore. I think I gave it away. It was a little miniature record player MP3 speaker or Bluetooth speaker. That's cool. That's really, really neat. Thanks for the tip. Rice cooker. I don't know if you can relate, but when I go to a record shop, I dig deep because I'm afraid I passed up a grail. Yeah, absolutely. I almost picked up Dolly, but it would have killed the budget. No. Don't do anything. Never, ever, ever buy anything for me. Don't ever, I don't ever want you guys to feel that I don't need anything. All I need is you guys spending time with me and investing time in watching the channel. That's what means the most to us. And I'm very, very thankful for that. I don't need any things. I have an abundance of that. I want to give away things. I've got too many things. In fact, we're doing more giveaways soon. We got to give away things. I like giving more than receiving. But thank you so much for even thinking. Jeremy says, I'm a mod. Don't think anyone else can put up a link. Oh, okay, interesting. Hey, Ron, welcome in. Kyle says, I got exciting news. I'm going to learn how to play the guitar. I start lessons tomorrow, 12 o'clock. All right, Kyle, don't be late, 12 o'clock sharp. and let us know how it goes. That's really cool. Vinyl_rage says, I have a friend that's also into vinyl. So technically went to 2 stores, and that's what's fun, right? I have a buddy that is the same. It's the same situation. I'm like, all right, here's what I need you to look for. And what do you want me to look for? Kind of, I don't know, it's 2 phones, same person. What do you want me to look for? And we look out for each other. And then, and that's how he's sending me the Dolly Parton record, because he did find it. And he went later in the day too. He's like, I don't like the crowds. I want to wait and go later. And I'm like, okay. And by the way, when I went to Salty Dog Records yesterday in Sarasota, they are, I think that's so cool. They're not a sponsor, but I think it's just so cool how they have these. They gave you a big one and a small one. They didn't have any RSD leftovers that I saw anyway. They posted on their Facebook the titles that they still have. They have a very active Facebook, and it was really cool because they show the new records they just took in, so you can like keep up with their records, like their, what am I trying to say, the inventory, just by following them on Facebook, which is really, really cool. Jocko Harpo says, I still have my old 45 Chickaboom by Daddy Dewdrop. Interesting. UTP says, I have a link for Target for the boxes I use for storing records if anyone is interested. Okay, that's cool. And yeah, you can email me too. If you email me, I can take a look and possibly post it in the future. Jocko says, played with the video on the Archies from 1971. Wow, that's so cool. Movie Spud, magnet and Bluetooth speaker. Yay, caught a live stream, says Azzy Chan. Welcome in, my friend. So glad you could be here. Were you able to find Dolly after all? I was not, but I'm getting it. A friend, we were just talking about that. A friend of mine picked it up and they're sending it to me. I did get Incense and Peppermint, Strawberry Alarm Clock, 1967. This is out of, 3,000 copies down there. And I showed it earlier, but it's so beautiful. I'll show it again. It's on this like candy pink vinyl, a good thick 140 gram pressing. Absolutely beautiful. Great quality mastering. It was like 27 or so, which is about what I figured. I figured about 30. I saw the Doctor Who thing and it was like 47 and up. I was like, if it was a Grail record for me, then I might splurge up that high. But as I was saying earlier, $50 on a record is usually reserved for like a birthday or a Christmas present. Don't forget to subscribe to Mrs. Record-ology. Yes, Jeremy brings up a great point. So again, if you haven't done so already, check out my wife's channel. He put the link in there, and I don't have it anymore. So yeah, check out Jeremy's link if you want to subscribe. Actually, I would like for you guys to subscribe to that. That would be wonderful. It's couples blog stuff. It's nature. It's animals. All the crazy adventures here in Florida, and even some record store stuff sneaks in there every now and then if I have anything to do with it. So check that out. Thank you, Jeremy. Jeremy's the best hype man ever. Jeremy, you are awesome. Thank you so much for modding tonight. Ben says hello from Adelaide, South Australia. Welcome in. That is awesome. Oh, you got Doctor Who. Oh, that's really cool. Is it cool? Is it fun? What's on? I don't even know what was it. Is it audio from like, tell me what's on it. What's the content? A friend of mine, do I have it here? Dang, where did I put it? Oh, it's over on the shelf. A friend of mine recently got me into Fawlty Towers. It's a British comedy show from like the mid 70s, early 80s. It's fantastic. I love it. It's really funny. I really like that stuff. Doctor Who, I had watched Doctor Who on public television back in the day, the original Doctor Who. I have not seen the modern iterations, but tell me about what the record was like. I got to attend my first record store day Saturday. I didn't even know we had a record store in my little town. Well, there you go. The system is working. It's getting you into and aware of your record store. They didn't have any RSD exclusives, but it was just a thrill to participate. Yeah, isn't it fun just to be a part of something? And the people at East West Records that I went to in Orlando were like, happy record store day. It was like a holiday. They're like, happy record store day, everybody. In the video So we did a couples blog for that day as well. So you get to see everything we did, including medieval times and this nature preserve thing we went to. And I was busy saying Happy Record Store Day. And my wife turns to me, she's like, it's Earth Day. I'm like, it's Earth Day? Yeah, it's Earth Day. I'm like, it's Record Store Day. So we were kind of teasing about, it's Record Store Day. No, it's Earth Day. Apparently, Saturday was Earth Day, Record Store Day, the 25th anniversary of the Tampa Bay Rays, and the 25th anniversary of the Disney's Animal Kingdom. So it was a lot of things going on Saturday, but it was fun. The vibe was really, really cool. Interesting how record stores have a vibe. Some I like more than others. I really like the vibe at East West. I've been to now just a handful of record shops in Florida so far. I think 4 I've been to so far. Been to a couple over on the East Coast, a couple on the West Coast, a couple, central here. And I guess not, that'd be more than 5. Anyway, I've been to a few, and some have a better vibe than others. Sometimes it depends on the music they're playing, depends on how kind they are. This, just the vibe, the feel, the art, And I'll tell you one of the best record shops I've ever been to. And keep in mind, I'm not a typical vinyl person, if there is such a thing. I don't like a lot of the things that other vinyl people necessarily like as my favorite thing. So I am, finding, older music that I like and not necessarily rock. And I've decorated, with this kind of stuff, vintage, retro, things like that. But if there is such thing as a family-friendly record shop, Volume Music in Houston is probably the closest thing I found to it. This lady that owns it and runs it, super nice. Just spent a lot of time talking to my wife and I about their business, their goals, their ups and downs. And they had a great layout, a great store, all genres still. I mean, if like death metal, they still have it, but they also had country, they had musicals, they had kids music, all that stuff. So the wide variety. That was a great vibe. I also, back in Denver, the 2 big ones were Wax Trax and I can never remember the other one in Denver. Wax Trax is slightly smaller, and then you've got somebody put it in the comments. What's the big record store in Denver? Anyway, the bigger one is my favorite. The vibe was just, I like the vibe. There's a thing to the vibe, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, no worries. I try to respond to everybody on these. Doctor Who is some old annuals for the 4th Doctor. I haven't played it yet. That's interesting. So it's back from the TV show, right? Like the original TV show. One of the local stores near me had a few of the RSD records left, but also had an awesome sale on everything else. That's really cool. Jocko says, I've been to St. Armand's Circle in Sarasota. Never seen any record stores there. I should have looked it up. Yeah, it was like in Old Town, Sarasota. Tiny little place. I was looking for it and I almost missed it. And again, if you want to see it, I filmed it walking in there and walking around inside on our shorts tab here on YouTube. Also on our TikTok page. It's our latest video up there. Picked up the new Bonnie Raitt for $18 as UTP 216. That's awesome. Jocko loves Bonnie Raitt. Ben says, just upgraded my vinyl setup late last year. Got the Audio-Technica LP 140, which is basically what the LP 120s used to be. So it's got like the VTA adjustment, the metal 45 adapter. That's cool. I really want to get my hands on one of those. We have struck a deal with a company to review a turntable. And when I say a deal, what does that mean? It means they're willing to send us a sample. So I am super excited to do that. And if you like Audio-Technica, stay tuned. Upgraded the cartridge straight up with the Audio-Technica VM540ml cart and paired it with a Project PhonoBox 2 S2. I gotta look up this cartridge. Yeah, for content creators that want to review turntables, you've got 2 options. You've got either buying record players, which gets very expensive if you're doing it in large quantity. Ooh, that cartridge looks cool. I don't think I've ever listened to that. Wow, that's a nice cartridge. Microline. Oh, there you go. That's cool. So yeah, you've got the two options. You've got partnering with a company to provide a sample or buying your record player outright. We do both. So companies will send us samples and we review them. And sometimes we just go buy it off the street. Doesn't matter where we get it. They get an honest review, which, can go either way. We just review it either way. It's a review. It's not a promo, right? So, or an instructional video. I worked really hard. When I started this channel, I kept falling into this when I was reviewing record players. I kept finding myself falling into this rut of doing instructional videos. And this is how you do this, which there's a time and a place for that, but not every video. You know what I mean? Not every video should be instructional. So I try to make my reviews more conversational based, like we're just hanging out together. This whole channel is supposed to be just a social hangout kind of thing that happens to be about vinyl. So so I was happy to partner with these guys, and hopefully we can get a sample that we can evaluate and see if it's any good. And we also bought a record player this weekend to review in the near future, a brand and a product we've never looked at anything quite like it before. Got some other stuff on the way. I've got some stuff from across the pond coming this way to review. Trying to get you guys the best content all the time. I'm excited. I'm always excited. What's around the corner? Originally, I was trying to get the records at East West, but they ran out. Oh, you were over there too. Got them at Retro Records off Bumby near downtown Orlando. I have to go there still. I haven't been there yet. They actually made a 4578 player for cars. Yes, I've seen. That's cool. It was a tube type player. You mounted it under the dash. Crazy stuff. Chris says the vibe was also very cool where I went. They played records and let us test the Dollar Bin records. My first, but definitely not my last. That's great. Jocko says where there's the same name as the place. That's the name of the place. I just love these streams. Just a place for the music nerds. Just chill. Exactly. No agenda. There's no schedule. You know what I mean? We're just hanging out. You guys chatting with each other. Me blabbing on and on. My wife's like, what are you going to talk about in your live tonight? I don't know. What anybody else wants to bring up? I don't know. As you guys have learned by now, I don't have a hard time talking. It's just making any sense or saying anything worth listening to, maybe, but it's like a faucet. Turn the faucet on, turn the faucet off. Kyle says, I got the Rolling Stones today for $5 at the record store called Omega Music. Beast of Burden is on one side. The other side is in my brand new car. That's really cool. Wolf Steeler says, didn't get any RSD records, unfortunately. Was too busy moving. I Feel You was there a month ago, and every time I move, I'm like, I never want to move again, especially cross country. That was cross country move. That was amazing. Anthony says, especially when you're moving records and turntables and things. Anthony says, got an original 1977 Saturday Night Fever soundtrack from Discogs VG Plus for $14. That's a good soundtrack. I also have the Arthur Fiedler knockoff. Where is that? That's too far away. I can't reach it. I never know what record is going to come up in conversation. Otherwise, I have them on standby to show you guys. Jared says, do you have a Discogs account? I don't. It's free. You can look up your records and find out the information. I do look up records on Discogs all the time. Also estimates the value of your collection. And that's an interesting point you bring up, Jared. I have never been in this for the sake of amassing a valuable collection per se. And I know people do, and that's totally fine. That's cool. Whatever people want to do. For me, it's always just literally been about the music and about the history of the records. So it would probably be $20. It's that I don't have I have a few rare things. I'm exaggerating, but what I'm trying to say is that's not the type of collecting that I do. But I think it's really cool that others do it. I also have not purchased a record on Discogs. I do collect for value Funko Pops. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that on here. My wife and I have compared to people on here, it's tiny, but we've got a bookshelf full of Funko Pops. And it's really fun in the Funko app to scan them in to your collection and look at the estimated value of your collection and see how much you've done. It adds up, and it kind of disgusts you at how much money you've spent on little plastic toys when you're an adult in their mid 40s. But at the same time, it's fun. And it's also cool to see what's trending in the Funko Pops and to see what the most valuable one is. And we just pick them up very sporadically. I don't think we've bought a pop. We did buy. Okay, so if you're a Disney person or you're in Florida, you will know that over the last 18 months, Walt Disney World has been celebrating what they call their 50th, which is the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World Park or Walt Disney World Resort opening up. The 4 parks down here have kind of staggered open since then, but with the most recent one, 1998, just celebrated its 25th anniversary, Animal Kingdom. Anyway, so they had a bunch of exclusive merch for the 50th, and one of the 50th items that they had was a Funko Pop that we picked up. So that was the last pop we bought about maybe 3 weeks ago. Well, we were out at the World of Disney store, which is like the world's largest Disney store. It's like a shop. It's like a supermarket, probably bigger than a supermarket sized Disney store. It's amazing, but terrifyingly crowded. So we were there on the last day of the 50th, picking up that merch. Then we found out later that they weren't really getting rid of it instantly on that day, and that it's still available in pieces here and there. Now the big thing is the 100th anniversary celebration, the 100th anniversary of the Walt Disney Company. So yeah, last Funko Pop was that. Before that, I think it was last Christmas. There was Target had an exclusive FAO Schwartz Tin Soldier, and we picked that up. And you don't spend a lot of money on these things. Usually what we try to do is buy below market. So you can scan the pop at the store with the app, assuming you have good data connection, and it'll say this is worth whatever. Usually if they're selling it for $8 or $9 or $10, it's worth 12, 13, 14. So it's, you know what I mean? You're making your money back, as it were, right off the bat. And sometimes you'll do that. And if you find anything exclusive, if you find any first editions, any like exclusive ones, and there's a lot of exclusives, it's really fun. It's really, really fun to get those. And then they add up. And like we went to, back in Denver, they had the Jurassic Park attraction, the traveling show came through, and they had a Funko Pop exclusive for that. And it was like $27 because it was a 2-in-1. It was like 2 characters in a larger box. And it's worth a lot of money now. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. All right. Let me get caught up on comments. Thank you so very much, you guys, for being here. This is great. If you haven't already hit the thumbs up button, I would really appreciate that. Tim Allen in the house, my friend. Thank you so much. Again, taking inspiration from you. I love, love, love. Please upload more of them. Your record review shows. I love everything about it. I like the fact that you're facing the camera. I like the fact that you read off the number of the record, talk about the pressing. It's a perfect amount of time. It's like 2 minutes discussion per record. Show it and talk about why it's important to you, why you picked it up. And I'll watch you doing that even without, personally caring about those titles. Or not, I shouldn't say caring about. Those aren't necessarily titles I would get for myself, is what I'm trying to say. But it's just fun to listen to somebody who's passionate about something, talk about what they're passionate about. And also, it's a good way to learn about new stuff. So I'm taking inspiration from you, and I did that in the video I'm going to post after this live tonight, reviewing my latest record haul. So the only thing I need to fix is the audio, because it's still echoey in the studio. We need to order some acoustic panels because it's just, it's parallel walls. So got the lighting looking pretty good in there right now. Got like 3 different fixtures going to create a nice wrap. It's sadly super high definition, so my skin and it's way too high resolution for what needs to be, because the lighting was improved. But the downside is the sound is still reverberating quite a bit. So that's the only downside. It's gonna be a good video. I hope you guys like it. It's like 20 minutes of showing what I bought this weekend. I bought a bunch of records this weekend, both at Record Store Day and out at Salty Dog. So I take inspiration from that format from you, Tim. So thank you for that inspiration. LPW 30TK that I was able to get from eBay. Really cool. The Frugal Audiophile, welcome back, says, love the dog picture behind you there. Yeah, this was it's a modern day replica tin sign. I got it on Amazon. And I've got 2 more similar signs on the way. I'm going to put something maybe up here and up here just to kind of, it's a white wall. It's so boring, right? So I wanted something. And also we were talking earlier about setting up your, listening, your vinyl room or whatever, your music room. And some of us have decided to make it like a shop, like your record store shopping, like your record shopping. And so I've got crates and the signs kind of add to the ambiance and stuff. It's just fun. Just adds to the fun. I heard a story once that the idea with this was that the brown table underneath was actually a coffin. And Nipper, the dog, was sitting on his owner's coffin listening to a record of his voice. And Victor records were so good, they were so realistic that he was perplexed and thinking he was hearing his master's voice. His master's voice, you say? HMV? That's the rumor. And I think there's even some early advertising that shows this being, I'm pointing with my pointer. I've been on Zoom too much this week already. It's already Monday, or only Monday. But yeah, that apparently shows it being a coffin. I was like, really? Kind of morbid. It's probably wise to rein that in a bit and just kind of simplify it. But yeah, that's cool looking. I like it. Thank you for noticing. Sometimes you'll see nippers in the record stores. In fact, in the one in Sarasota that I filmed yesterday and posted on TikTok and in shorts a little while ago, there was a Nipper the dog in there. I didn't see it when I was there. Sometimes I'll be filming, I'm looking through the lens, and then later I'll be like, oh yeah, there was something I didn't even notice when I was there. Anthony says, I got to use Shure M104E and hooked it up to the stylus today. Sound quality was horrible. Probably due to age. Moving forward, never get a used cartridge. Interesting. So was it a new stylus? Hooked it up to the stylus. So you bought a cartridge and hooked it up to a stylus. That's interesting. How was your RSD? We talked about it. I didn't get the Dolly Parton record I wanted, but I got Incense and Peppermints on pink vinyl, which was my second choice. And I'm thankful for that. Got videos showing all that stuff if you want to go back and look at it. Rice Cooker says, I love your recent review video. It was amazing. The player looked cool, but it was disappointing. It was. I was like, what? I was like, what is the spindle, hitting on the platter? Although we fixed it. Crazy. Jocko says, you do a great job. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Ben says, he's talking to somebody on there. Where are you originally from? Originally from Denver. Recently transplanted to Florida and loving every minute of it. We've been coming down here for years. My wife and I put in a plan of action that we've been working on for years to come down here after the kids grew up and moved out. Movie Spud, the record barn here is a literal 1940s barn. That's cool. Where is that, Movie Spud? What city? The Def Leppard Funkos are my house band. Funko Pops are great. I got some Brady Bunch ones and limited John Lennon. Yeah, my son collects the musician ones. So he's got like the Post Malone ones and some rappers and some rock and roll guys. But I really should I say this? I'm trying to complete my Golden Girls set. I need Dorothy. So if anybody knows where I can find Dorothy, let me know. You see Rose, and you see Rose in a red dress a lot, which for a while was worth like $46 after she passed away. It's kind of sad. Somebody passes away and all of a sudden their Funko Pop's worth a lot of money. I've got Blanche, but I need Dorothy. And I've the set that I've got of the Golden Girls is the bowling series. And there's other series as well. I'd take any. I'd be happy if I found any of the Dorothy ones. I like completing the 3-part sets I think those are cool. Also collect the Star Trek ones, obviously a lot of Disney ones. Some Star Wars ones. My wife collects the pop minis. They're like the keychain ones. She's got them sitting on this little, it's actually right over there. She's got it sitting on this tiered, it's like a choir of Funko Pops. It's really cool. Have them all. Now, are you a Funko Pop in the box or out of the box person? Some people think it's sacrilege to open their Pops. Some people, they're like, why would you buy it and not open it? I personally leave them in the box. I have taken one out because I just wanted to see what it was like, but pretty much I leave them in the box. Ben says, oh, he's talking to somebody else on here. Sorry. Sorry, I'm behind on comments as per the usual. If I miss a comment, by the way, feel free to put it back in. I apologize here. The thing kind of jumps around, and sometimes I lose my place. Chris says, I can't remember exactly what you said about Glenn Miller and his time in the military, but there was a sealed record of his, and he was wearing his military suit on the cover. The store I was at. It's still there. Would you like me to pick it up for you? You don't need to pick me up anything, but thank you so much. I have a whole crate of Glenn Miller. I don't need any more anything, but thank you. Thank you so much. That being said, if anybody feels compelled to send us records, or I'm not contradicting myself. I just like to, it's fun to review. If you guys have things you want me to review, if you want me to give you a shout out, you can always mail stuff to us. We have a mailbox set up, addresses in our About tab and most of our descriptions. And we do have the new mailbox set up here down in Florida. But I don't want you guys going out and spending money on my account. It's humbling just that you guys are out there, period. But if you do, anytime you guys do send stuff, I try to give you a huge shout out, put it up on the show. You guys have blessed me so many things, including record players and records and stuff. It's just crazy. But about Glenn Miller and the Army. So basically, I got a Glenn Miller Army record. This is kind of a rare one. Basically, Glenn Miller, big band leader, was very successful. And at the height of his career in 1942, he disbands his band, joins the Army. The Air Force didn't exist yet. It was the Army Air Forces. Volunteers, joins into the Army, and eventually is given permission to form a big band for the purpose of building and boosting the morale of the country domestically at first, making music. And it wasn't the same type of Glenn Miller music that he did with his first band. It was more, there was orchestra in it as well. It was big band with strings, and kind of brought in strings and cherry picked the very best people that either drafted or joined the military during World War II from the best big bands in the business, forming like an all-star band, the best of the best. And eventually that band went overseas to play for the troops, something that Glenn was very passionate about, ultimately paying the ultimate price when his plane went missing over the English Channel. The band was advancing to the continent, and his plane was disappeared and was never seen again. So the Glenn Miller Army music was originally hard to find, and eventually, starting in the mid to late 50s, they started releasing it commercially. And now you can find it, but people these days, if they're just like, I know of Glenn Miller, they oftentimes don't know anything about the military stuff. But if you love Glenn Miller music, it's the best Glenn Miller music. The quality of the recordings, the sound, the songs that were only done with a military band are the best of the best. So if you go down that rabbit trail, there's a fun world in front of you of collecting. This is one such record. And this thing looks like it was created by somebody who had no experience with, marketing, no experience with print media. You know what I mean? Like this, he's facing away from the edge. It's not a good design of a record. The pictures are just plopped on there. You know what I mean? Black and white. This is an interesting record. This is actually an exclusive record series that was available at it's an Air and Space Museum. Let me see which one it is. I think it was Peterson in the early 80s. Yeah. Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio. And the record was physically made by RCA. You do see RCA Victor and Nipper. There he is there, and there he is here. But it was an RCA special product, so it was a special order, custom, kind of like RCA did the Reader's Digest stuff. So it's a good quality pressing. And if we look at the label, you'll see that familiar black RCA Victor still has the 70s RCA logo on it, but it says special products. But it's the same quality pressing. And it was, I think, a 4-part series of some of the Army music, and it's just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And in the Army, Glenn did propaganda broadcast in German, and he did all kinds of stuff to entertain the troops. He did music for the BBC. He traveled all over the place, was very prolific, very, very prolific. And there are a lot of recordings available and stories and things. It's just awesome. But yeah, sorry. Got me on one of my passions there, Glenn Miller. But that's cool. You found it. You know what you guys can do that would always be appreciated is if you see something you think I would like, shoot a picture and just email it to me. I love seeing that stuff. I was collecting Dragon Ball Z Funko Pops, but I ran out of room. They do take up a lot of room, especially now they start coming out with these huge Funko Pops. You ever seen those ones that are like this big? It's like, where am I going to put that? You know, what am I going to do with that? It's too big. Now I collect blank cassette tapes. Much more practical space-wise, right? I love the Funko music pops. Yeah, those are cool. From RSD, I got Taylor Swift Folklore. Wow, one of the, what was it, 1,500 copies? You actually got one? The Long Pond Studio Sessions Bluey, which now resells for 200. Yeah. And you got Peppa Pig? I actually was going to buy Peppa Pig if I found it. People were teasing me about that. I was going to get it if I found it. I didn't see Peppa Pig anywhere. But yeah, the Taylor Swift Long Pond Studio Sessions, I believe, were what she recorded during the lockdown. And then they got back together and re-recorded them after the lockdown because they were able to do it in a studio together. The Frugal Audiophile says, I thought that might be Nipper. It's hard to tell because it's a little blurry in the stream. Yeah, it's the focus is really narrow right now, and I apologize for that. It's actually amazing I've got any depth of field on here because it's only an arm's reach back there. Oops. Do you collect stickers from record stores that people send you? I've got some nice looking shop stickers I might send you. I'd love it. UTB, send me any. Actually, do you collect UTB stickers? Remember those? Yeah, absolutely. I do collect stickers. I've got a box of 45s covered in stickers that you guys have sent me and things I've picked up. I love that stuff. And my wife collects pin back buttons. If you guys want to bless her, I know she would be thrilled to get a pin back button, like basically like a little metal button with a pin on it, like a lapel pin kind of deal. She loves that stuff. That would be really, really cool to surprise her with that. Sometimes I go into record stores and they have some of those, and I try to pick some up and surprise her. She never buys herself anything, so it's nice to try and reciprocate. Anthony says the cartridge came without the stylus, so I got a new one and a head shell. So if you got a new stylus, the cartridge being bad, that's weird that the cartridge was bad. I have an old cartridge I need to get a stylus for. Let me see if I can find it. It was, yeah, up here. This came with my SLB5 Technics changer, which is mothballed right now, and I've been missing it. I might change up the record player layout. I get bored with one, and then I want another one. But I got this on the SLB5, this Empire, and look at the size of that generator. I think it's a beast. It's huge. And it's got a really cool kind of orange clear plastic stylus housing, and you can buy them. And it looks like it's ready to go, and I'd love to give it a listen. So we might make a show out of that. That's the only vintage cartridge I have right now. I sold my BSR changer. It wasn't really BSR. It was, I always want to say Gerard, and it's not. It's Glenburn. I sold the Glenburn. I'm like, I'm going to take one changer, and the SLB5, strangely enough, went out over the BSR type. I bought a Shure M44 for that, and I bought a new stylus, and it worked brilliantly. That was a good rugged card. I don't think I have any other vintage styli or cartridges right now. Everything else is newer. I still have one of these. These are weird. Do you remember a while ago when all the like Crosley and Victrola were all releasing their own cartridges? This was the Crosley one, and it's not a rebranded 3600. In fact, if you put a 3600 next to it, do I have a 3600 over here? I don't. How do I not? No, that's not a 30. What is that? Oh, that's not a 3600. How do I not have I usually have like 5 on hand. Anyway, it's bigger than that. And it kind of looks like that, but no, this is a Malaysian cartridge. And it's dual magnet, I believe. And it's got a removable stylus. And you may say, why is that a big deal? Well, the Victrola one, you couldn't remove. It was a permanently fixed stylus. This one can be, changed out. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. We did some shows on it. And I sent one to a friend of mine for him to test it out. And but the reason why they were doing that is because Audio-Technica started getting very particular about selling their equipping, I should say, their cartridges on third-party products. Because at the time, Audio-Technica or Victrola and Crosley were putting all their mid and higher end stuff out with the 3600 on them, and in some cases even rebranding that, as per the agreement. But Audio-Technica decided to stop having that agreement and wanted some more exclusivity. It sounded like, that's my interpretation. That's not based on any insider knowledge, but that's kind of what I was reading between the lines of what I was seeing out there. And now there is not such a run, so I see that the 3600 is kind of back. But for a while there, it looked like Crosley was going to go with that thing. And it's not a bad cartridge. It's not as good as the 3600, but it wasn't bad. Here is that Empire again. So yeah, we need to give this a listen. I think that would make for a good show. The latest cartridge stylus thing I bought was I bought a, in fact, I've got it right here. This is actually a 3600. But you'll notice something different about this 3600. Know something different about that? By the way, if you want to compare the size of this guy, see how much bigger than the 3600 body it is? Okay, I'm holding it further back, but still. Okay, I'm going to side by side. See that? How much beefier that thing is? This is a 3600, but you'll notice the stylus housing isn't white. It's green with a black dot on it. That's because this is a 3mm wide groove stylus. This is a fan steel stylus for playing 78s, and I have it on this cartridge. Now, I know the cartridge is still a stereo cartridge. Ideally, you'd want a wide groove stylus on a mono cartridge for playing wide groove mono records. But if you don't have that, you'll just get 2-channel mono, and it sounds pretty dang identical. So that one of the things I got this for was the fact it was 3 speeds, and it does a really, really good deal. Okay, let's see here. Joplin, Missouri, Dig It Record Barn. Next time I'm in Joplin, I will check it out. Close to Carthage. Okay. Kyle says, I got another question. I saw a Pioneer record player. Is Pioneer a good brand? Yes, it is. They want $25 for it. Should I go back and buy it? Yeah, it depends on what model it is. But yeah, Pioneer is a good brand. This is Pioneer. I love Pioneer. Movie Spud says, I got the Golden Girls pops, but not the bowling ones. Did you get Dorothy? That's the one that I can't find anywhere. That's really cool if you got this. That's cool that somebody else besides me on there actually collecting the Golden Girls. Golden Girls is a TV show. That's like a feel good. If I just feel stressed, if my anxiety is flaring, that's just a good show to like zone out to. It for me, it's just relaxing, calm, safe, peaceful. Am I the only one? That's what I do. I watch that a lot. I love it. If I want active viewing, I watch something like Trek or Star Wars or something. If I want to laugh, I watch usually replays of 90s sitcoms. As he Chan says, I am an in the box person, as everybody should be. So good on you for that. Steve says, out of the box. What? Of course, I only have 6. All right, Steve. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe we need to do out of the box. So is Movie Spud. But I have a few in the box. I've seen people do that too, where they have some out and some in. It kind of makes for good display. Sometimes I do look at them and I'm like, this is silly having all this stuff in packages. Because you know what I think is ridiculous? And why do I think this? Because I'm totally contradicting my reasoning for having the pops in the box. But I always thought people that collected the Star Wars action figures and left them all in the package I thought that was dumb. I was like, just take them out of the thing. But if you're doing it for an investment, if you're doing it it's like we were talking about earlier, if you're collecting for value, then it makes sense to leave them in. Rice Cooker says, all the people say that the Ortofon 2M blue for being, all people saying the Ortofon 2M blue for being bass lacking, but for my taste, I'd rather have less bass than overpowering amount. Rice Cooker brings up a good point. So Ortofon, excuse me. I'm trying to get on the way of saying that. And I happen to have an Ortofon right here. It's my DJ, Ortofon DJ, Mark II. I think they're on Mark III or maybe even 4 now. It was a couple years old. This is from their Concord series. I love these things. I love them. I think they look cool. You don't have to align them. They've got the gap in there so you can cue it up. It's super rugged. The cantilever can withstand, all kinds of crazy stuff. This is all metal down to that orange line. Super rugged. This is designed for DJ work, but it's a good listening cartridge. Anyway, Ortofons sound warm. They have no, they don't. They don't sound warm. They sound high-end prevalent. They don't lack bass, but they don't emphasize it. This is what I consider a cooler sounding or more accurate sounding cartridge. Anything Ortofon. The red, I haven't heard the blue. The only difference between the blue and the red is that stylus is nude on the blue. And then Audio-Technica's neutral, and in some cases warm. I've got some Audio-Technica cartridges like this guy right here. I think this is I always get this wrong, but whatever this one is, this is the E. It's an elliptical cut, and it's kind of a value. It's like a $30 cartridge. This thing sounds warm. I would say VM95E, but I don't think that's it. So Audio-Technicas to me are usually neutral, if not slightly warm. Sumika? Is it Sumika? Like this Black Pearl? Warm sounding cartridge. This came on my RT85. No, it didn't. What came on my RT85? It used to come with a 2M blue, and then they changed it to something else. No, I got this as a review unit. No, the Sumiko didn't come. Anyway, the Sumiko Black Pearl, it's like a $100 cart. Like a Grado cartridge. I'll show you my Grado. Grados sound warm. I personally like a warm. Oh, that was awesome. You ever throw something into a cup? Okay. This is a Grado 2N. This is a Gold Prestige 2. They're now on the 3s. It's like a $260 cartridge. Very warm. I like a warm sounding cartridge. A lot of people don't. They like the cooler sounding Ortophones, which is totally fine. What came with the? Oh yeah. It's on the tip of my tongue. The cartridge, they replaced the RT85s, used to come with the 2Ms. Nagaoka MP110. I just realized it. So the Nagaoka MP110 is also a warm sounding cartridge. I think it's single magnet, and I think it's a moving Pomeroy instead of a moving magnet. So it's a single magnet moving Pomeroy. It sounded a little muddier, maybe? I don't know. But there's different sound tonalities, and it's nitpicky stuff, right? Stuff that you're really not going to notice for most people unless you do like an A/B test. Audio-Technica is neutral, slightly warm. Ortophone, cooler sounding, more high-end, less bass prevalence. Grados are moving iron cartridge, and those are warm. Vinyl Rage has a 2M red. It has a perfect base for me. Not too light, but not too heavy either. The Folklore vinyl is so clear and pretty. I miss it. It was limited for 150,000 worldwide. Peppa is easily available on Discogs for around 20 to 30, so pick one up while you can. I would have got it. It was 1.8 thousand. Interesting. Pressings. Yeah, I didn't. I would, if it was there, I would get it. I don't think I would order it online. I don't think I wanted it that bad. Rice Cooker says, I remember that Victrola with the ceramic that made it look like a 36. Yes, it tracked at 8 grams. That was the canvas, the Victrola canvas. And at first I was like, oh, sweet. They put a 3600 on there. I'm like, come on, don't paint it white. Don't make it look like it's a 3600. It was just a big housing on the front, a big, like a nose, like a some kind of thing they put on the front. Movies, but I have all 4 of the Golden Girls. You just corrected me because it's 4, not 3. I do have Sophia as well. So I've got Sophia, I've got Blanche, and I've got Rose. I don't have Dorothy. So I have 3. I need the 4th one. Sophia was hilarious. You're right. It's also weird that she was like younger than Dorothy, I think. Like she was made up to look much older than she was. Anthony says you can also get an elliptical stylus upgrade for the 3600 for playing 33s and 45s. That's really cool. My experience is if you've got a worn out record, here's a little hack. You guys want to hack? You've been on this live for an hour and a half now, which is crazy and fun. But if you want a little bit of a hack, so we're gonna have illustration time. We're gonna use the back of the Salty Dog thing. So let us say for a moment that we have a record groove and we are going to draw the groove as a V. So that's the record groove. We're looking down, we're micro-sized, we're in the groove and we're looking down the groove and those are the groove walls, okay? Now, let's say we're using a conical stylus, which is rounded. It's also called another word that isn't coming to mind, but a conical or spherical, there it is, stylus. And that stylus is in the groove. It might look something like that. Notice where the groove is touching the wall of the groove on the sides. It doesn't go down in the bottom, which is kind of good because that's where dust and grime, particulates kind of hang out. So if you've got a new record, even if it's a little dusty, playing it with a conical stylus, it can often sound quieter in terms of crackle if you use a conical because it doesn't get down in there. People will argue with me about the Salty Dog. Oh, spherical, or they'll tell me an elliptical doesn't ride any deeper in the groove. And I've disproven that before. We've shown images. And if an elliptical definitely rides deeper in the groove. 100% every time. So let's take that same groove and let's say that it has been played and played and played and played and played with a spherical / conical stylus. It's all worn out. This is where the wear happens because the stylus is only making contact in this area right here. And it's worn out. So if your record's all worn out and that's what's happening. In most, especially if an old record that's all worn out, that's where it's happening. There's still good groove information down here and up here. So with the fact that a elliptical stylus rides lower in the groove, guess what? It can make a dirty, or not dirty, actually, no. It can make a scratched up, worn record sound better because it is riding down in the groove and isn't reliant on the information only in these two junctures. It's picking up information all the way down the edge, and a little bit of damage on the edges doesn't affect it. So it can make old records sound new again. However, because it is essentially sharper and down in the groove, it's down where all the dust and grime and grit is. And if you have a dirty record, it will sound worse with an elliptical than it will with a conical, because a conical goes right over it. Elliptical will pick up all that junk. You'll hear it. But if your groove is worn, because the record's worn, a clean, worn record will sound better with an elliptical. There you go. Let it fly why I'm wrong in the comments, because somebody's always out. No, that's garbage. That's absolute garbage. That's not true. It is true, but people say it's not. Okay, let's see here. You can also get into the, we talked about that. That being said, elliptical for certain applications, a great choice. Ben says, love going into the city and going record hunting. One time I found a copy of Dragon Body and the Beat with an uncut full version of the song Rain, which you will only find on vinyl. That's cool. Rachel says, I have one Funko Pop. It's the Disney Fantasia Ballerina Hippo. I took her out of the box. That's really cool. I've got, we have several Disney ones too. Some of the Mickeys and things. It's really cool. I love that stuff. Love that stuff. For a while, and I missed the fact, I wish down here in Texas, no, down here in Florida that we had Second and Charles, because they had some Funko exclusives for Second and Charles. Now, that parent company to that also runs a store that is out here called Books A Million. And perhaps there's Books A Million exclusives. I think there probably is. But some of those Books A Million / Second and Charles exclusive Funko Pops were really, really cool. Like some glitterized ones. My wife has a Pinocchio Jiminy Cricket that's diamond coated. Is really cool. Kyle says, my Audio-Technica is the Audio-Technica LP Go BT. So the LP Go is the LP60 BT, and it's an exclusive Walmart edition. And I would like to get my hands on one of those at some point and compare them to the regular version. That's awesome. Victor says, what kind of bird do you have? We have a green cheek and a gold cap canure. If you watch the replay of this, I had him on for like the first 20 minutes. He's a green cheek canure. He's about 11 years old. Is he 11? He's got to be older than that. Let me rethink this. What year is it? 2023. I guess he could be about 11. I think he's older than that. I think he's more like 13, maybe even 14. Huh. But yeah, that's all good stuff. He's a good boy. I love him. Chris says that's the Walmart version. Yep, exactly. The Walmart version, LP60. Rice Cooker says, I had so many close calls with my 2M Blue, but still sounds, when you say close calls, like dropping it. My favorite is when you drop your brand new stylus on a rotating felt mat and you're like, what have I done with my life? I really, 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 really want to somehow find an affordable way to find the stylus for my beautiful Ortophone 2M78. This is the purpose-built mono cartridge with a wide groove stylus for playing shellac 78s and other wide groove records. And yours truly fat fingered the cantilever off, just totally caught my thumbnail and flicked it off. That hurt because this cartridge is like I think it's over $200. And let's see if we can pull the stylus housing off. There's the cartridge sans stylus. You can see the generator is actually pretty small. It's only, a lot of this is just fluff and weighting. It's only that metal part. And then this is all stylus housing. Same body and same stylus housing that the 2M Red and Blue use as well, but this is a mono cartridge. Anyway, $100 for a new stylus for this, $100. And I just haven't, it was cheaper, and that's why I got the fan steel stylus for like, I think it was $23 for that to put on a 3600 I had lying around, cheaper than buying the new stylus for this. Meanwhile, I've got a perfectly good cartridge here that's just going to waste, which is a bummer. And it didn't even have that much use on it. That was a great cartridge. I think that was spot on analysis of conical and elliptical. Thank you, Chris. Ben says, I totally agree with you on my experience with my microline stylus. Styli that can go deeper in the groove does have the ability to make old worn records sound like new again. Movie Spud, I miss Hastings. Azzy Chan says, my pops are derpy Woofs and Dr. Woofs, My Little Pony. I have other Funkos of Pokemon, not considered Pops, but still Funko. Been starting to collect U2s as well. There's so many fun things to collect out there. And it's cool because like stores like Target and Walmart are starting to sell them, which is really cool. Victor says your bird is really cool. Thank you so much. I love Golden Girls. Used to watch them all the time. That's so cool. Rice Cooker, you have the same idea as me. It's getting close to bedtime. And before we go, I just want to say a heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you for being there tonight. I'm going to put it in the chat one more time. My wife's channel, if you would go over and subscribe, that would be a blessing. And I've got something else on my clipboard, so let me get the link again. If you're searching YouTube for it, it is Rain's Place, all one word. If you separate it out, you won't be able to find it. So Rain's Place, RAINSPLACE, all one word. Thank you, Jeremy. Beat me to it. And a special thank you to Jeremy for moderating tonight. Thank you to everybody for being there with us tonight. Tim, thank you for being there. Rice Cooker, Sean, Victor, Azzy-chan, Movie Spud, Ben, Chris, Rice Cooker. I think I said that twice. Rachel, thank you for being there tonight. Frugal Audiophile, everybody else. If I missed you, it doesn't matter. I love you all the same. God bless each and every one of you. Stay tuned. If you just can't get enough Record-ology, stay tuned because in about 20, 25 minutes, there will be another show posted, which will be a Tim Allen inspired record review. But for now, happy record hunting, my friends, and we will see you next time.